Top of the hour, Blake Ruffino down there in Louisiana. We'll go down there and get some Cajun action going. I love it. Love it.
Check out your boy.
My name is Blake.
Hit notifications for AYS. Hit notifications for AYS. Refresh, refresh, refresh.
What an incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack.
That blacked out Tahoe, hell yeah, let's roll with it, cuz.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
I'm in love with a stripper. She bobbing, she rolling, she bowling, she riding that pole, and I'm in love with a stripper. Me, I'm a bearded, ugly-looking dude, and she's a fine mama.
You gotta always protect the McNuggets.
Yup in my white tee. Yup in my white tee. All in the club. Some Patron in my white tee. You know, she don't want to pop lock and drop it. She never wants to do that. Money in the bank, shorty, what you drank.
I haven't had anything yet. So how can I have some more of nothing? You're killing me, Smalls.
What's up, Country? Hey, what's up, Country? He's coming on down to Austin. We got him some custom boots. We got him a custom or a burnt orange jacket, a can of chewing tobacco, and he gonna come down on here to Alton. Ricola. You know, DJ, go DJ. That's my DJ. Go DJ.
Like the guy says, you're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder.
Down there and got a mocha loca, yeah. All of a sudden, I just heard my wife yell to my son, "Get out of the trash." Well, that's not good.
Pain heals.
Rudy Poo, y'all.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Oh my God, let's go. Yippee! And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you're making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Boy, do we have a big show in store for you tonight. Man. It was a long weekend, as Conor McGregor would say. It's a long weekend of LSU greatness. Now, I did not have this in the headlines. Something that we do have to talk about off the top. Is LSU going to get some big news this weekend in reference to some of the Title IX stuff and maybe some Will Wade action? Why should we stop defending Will Wade? Maybe not. We will talk about that as the show goes on. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a little bit of a mix-up in the beginning. Like I said, we didn't put that down. But everyone joining the show, we greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor by hitting the like and share. We greatly appreciate all of our good partners over at Believe Podcast that is always powered by our good friends over at eBay. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, don't forget and rate and subscribe wherever you listen to that great podcast. We got some great comments in here, though. Dylan Landry says, let's go. Stephen Miller says, what's good? Craig Schilling says, and we are live. The man who came up with our new intro. We're not going to play the visual part of it, though. Don't want to get hit with that copyright. Chris says, let's go. Holden Lee says that intro. Yeah, I like it. Ryan Guidry says, back, gone. Yeah, you can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. This team so far, this LSU baseball team is so far more exceeding what they did last year. We're going to talk about that as well. We got to talk about some stuff off the top. That's for sure. But before we get started, guys, we got to get, you know what time it is. We got to pay some bills around this thing after you hit that like and share. For real, though. It's our good friends over at GM Varnado & Sons. GM Varnado & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, truck repairs, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino at AYS, sent you on by. And for the number one real estate firm in the North Shore, go to team.kw.com. That's team.kw.com. Meet with one of their great real estate agents today by giving them a call at 985-467-7355. That's 985-467-7355. And tell them Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. Okay, we do have a big show in store for you tonight. Aiden Syal and former Notre Dame quarterback and UCF quarterback Brandon Wimbush from Mogul is going to be jumping by. I'm really excited to talk to them. Name, image, and likeness is a big deal. And so we're going to talk to them about that. You guys know that I'm very pro player. I'm very pro athlete, being a former one myself. So we're going to talk about them maybe in about 9 minutes. They're going to be dropping in, and we're going to talk to them. But I do have to alter. We were going to start the show off with some big LSU baseball talk. However, I am getting some news that I'm still trying to confirm. Everyone remembers the big Will Wade investigation, the strong ass offer, the HBO documentary. We all remember that, right? Like, give me the thumbs up in the comments. Give us the impressions on this Facebook and YouTube. If you do remember that, because I know that you do. There is some people that are hinting and throwing the stuff around LSU that there might be a decision this upcoming week that all of this might go down with what we're going to find out about Will Wade and the basketball team. Not only that, someone also told me that we might find out what's going to go on with Title IX with LSU. So not only do we have a big week sports-wise, a huge sports weekend, we're coming off a high, right? K. Doty hitting bombs, Dylan Cruz hitting bombs. For crying out loud, Drew Bianco hitting bombs. And now all of a sudden, we might be in for a very, very long week. Or not that long of a week at all. Maybe a very, very, very good week. I was going to table this because I really want to get to some baseball talk before we have Aiden and Brandon on. It was brought to my attention, and Stephen Miller's in the chat. He brought this to my attention today. Now, let me say this too. I'm not confirming that it is for 100% locked that the NCAA is going to come with the Will Wade investigation or the Title IX stuff. What I am going to tell you is it looks like that this week it might go down. That seems to be around the central sourcing of what we're getting. But I have to say this off the top. We have to stop defending Will Wade when it comes to on-the-court basketball. The man can recruit. The man can get people fired up. The man can be a little petty when he talks about ULL basketball or ULL athletics. I told you on this show probably a month ago about Sean Payton. Petty and pettiness gets your ass beat. So when you run on a radio show and you make a kind of a funny comment, but a petty comment about an in-state school, you better be able to come back and back that shit up and be able to beat a team on the road so that you're in the contention for March Madness. Guys, today's March. Today is March. March Madness is upon us. So you want to be petty and you want to put LSU out there and you want to leave them vulnerable. You better be able to deliver. So as Stephen Miller brought to my attention, if you want to defend Will Wade, fine, do it. It's okay by me. But if you're going to defend Will Wade for what's going on the basketball court, you damn sure better back up Ed Orgeron, even though he went 5-5 last season. So stop defending Will Wade for on the court basketball when you're getting your asses beat. Now they got a big game tomorrow. Every game here on out is going to be big against Vanderbilt. So we'll see. A lot of people hitting the likes and the I hope so's in reference to this. So we'll see. Also, some big news. Jay says, where do you think Eric Gilbert goes? Probably not LSU. He only has a couple of options at this point. Only has a couple of options. So look, that I'm going to table that on the discussion of Will Wade later on. But if you're going to continuously and you're going to be that person that runs out there and hammers Ed Orgeron, you damn sure better have the nuts to go out there and hammer. And not, if you're going to do that for defend Will Wade, you better have the nuts to defend Ed Orgeron too. After bringing you a national championship with Daddy, meaning Joe Burrow, just a couple of seasons ago. Let's get to some LSU baseball before we get Aiden and Brandon in here. I did something this morning, and Jocks just said around lunch, I think it was, kind of implemented the Jacques Doucette from WAFB for everybody who doesn't know, but I know that you know. Brought this to my attention, and I told some people this morning, this LSU baseball team has just gone completely 180 from where they were this part last season. They're hitting home runs. Their offense is aggressive. And I forget who just said it in here. Let's see. I saw it earlier. Brandon says, love the aggressiveness of this baseball team, and he's exactly right. You know, I had a thought this morning when I was sitting in the shower, and you guys probably don't want to picture that, right? Excuse me. But did COVID-19 really help out Paul Maneri because they were able to regroup? Maybe so, but this team is on a roll. And David says here they're better roll Vandy. You're talking about basketball. I thought you were talking about baseball. But either way, yes, both of them do. Pitching is legit. Offense is legit. Defense may be a little suspect at times, but we'll see. Guys, you know what time it is, too. I forgot to put this in on the beginning of the show. Always, as always, you got to question the hashtag Ask Blake. Ryan Thibodeau says swing the sticks. Absolutely. 100%. I'm fired up for it. Carl Dunn says Eric Gilbert to Jackson State. Look, I'm just going to make a final statement on Eric Gilbert. There's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't see, and I really hope the young man gets help. You know, the transfer portal is what it is at this point. So if you're going to transfer and you're going to get the one-time year of eligibility, I don't believe the grades situation, but there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I just don't know if I fully believe yet. So we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Miller says to Blake for recognizing what the school west of the Atchafalaya Basin is named, talking about ULL. Yeah. Oh, Matt Trent. Our good friend, Mr. Matt Trent, says Eddie Smith is more relaxed. LSU hitters are more relaxed. I agree with you. I 100% fully agree with you. Everybody seems more relaxed. And when you have a guy like Dylan Cruz, yeah, you're going to be more relaxed when you're a hitting coach. That's for damn sure. That's like Andy Reid, you know, not really worrying about his offense because he's got Patrick Mahomes. And I know that's a big sentiment, but when you're the best college baseball hitter as a freshman right now, you definitely do it. All right, let's do this. We got him in here. Let's get to Mr. Aiden and Brandon Wimbush. But before we do that, we got to get to our segment sponsors and our good friend, Mr. John Patton over at Area Home Lending. Guys, if you're thinking about buying a new home, saving money on that mortgage that you have now, or even buying that cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John Patton from Area Home Lending today. Give him a call at 225-663-2500. That's 225-663-2500, or go to areahomelending.com. That's areahomelending.com. If you tell him Blake Ruffino sent you, he will send his team out for a free appraisal. Again, that's 225-663-2500. Tell him your good friend sent you on by. Okay, we are joined by Mr. Aiden Syal and former Notre Dame quarterback Brandon Wimbush. And the only reason I say former Notre Dame quarterback, I got to get this out in the open, Brandon, is in 2018, you played the LSU Tigers. Now, this is a big LSU podcast, okay? I don't forgive you for winning that game. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. I can't do that. But Brandon, right off the top, and we'll get to you and Aiden and what you guys are doing and everything like that. And I appreciate you joining the show. What's the one thing you remember about that game in 2018?
Blake, I was just gonna say, man, the guy who won that game for us isn't here on the live stream right now. You know, a good friend of mine, Ian Book. Right, I did start that game off. I was fortunate enough to start that game off, get us in a decent position. Terrible weather down there in Orlando, I think it was, but you know, it was exciting, right? I mean, it was the first time that I was really replaced. But you know, overall, I was very excited for the win, obviously, and it capped off a really good year. Obviously, I think that was one of the first years we were even in the top four. We reached the number 3 spot until we played Miami. But you know, we ended that year 10-3. It was my first year starting, so it was, you know, overall it was a good year and an exciting way to win. You know, exciting way to finish off the year.
The reason I ask, and you look, I got it. Look, LSU's in my heart, it's in my blood, and I got to ask. You know, I don't take losses very easy. You know, I hate to lose more than I love to win. You know, so like I had to throw it out there. But I appreciate you guys joining the show. Look, I'm going to bring it up to you guys. I think it's extremely interesting what you guys are building, and name, image, and likeness is a big deal. Monetization is a big deal. Look, we've been pushing out this thing from our podcast for everybody to go subscribe to YouTube so we get monetized. I'm going to give you guys the floor. Tell us about your company. Tell us about what you guys are doing, and so we can talk about that, and so people can be more aware about what's going on.
Yeah, Blake, on the show. Really appreciate the opportunity to join here. And
Brandon, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Aiden, can you with us? All right. Aiden, if you can, go off and then come back on, my man. There we go. Brandon, just take it up from there, man. Tell us more about what you guys are building and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, Blake. Aiden's usually the guy. I'll take it. I'll take it this time. We're here to help the college athlete in this time of evolution. So what we're doing at Mogul, Blake, is we're creating a platform to connect these athletes to businesses and brands, primarily at the local level. We're really on a mission here to empower the college athlete throughout this entire process from point A to point Z. So provide, whatever that means, providing them with the resources so they can efficiently and effectively navigate the NIL market. We're on a mission here to provide opportunities for all athletes. And the way that we're going to do that is being able to offer a variety of engagement and opportunities within their local markets and allowing the athlete to take full advantage of this, right? And to be very use their imagination and very creative in ways that they can monetize their name. So we want our platform to be very, seamless and easy to use, which is a synonym for seamless, but and very open architect, right? For the athlete to, take advantage of it however they see fit for themselves. So obviously, as well as with a philanthropic mission to inject a portion of our proceeds back into the communities that these college athletes value so highly, and obviously that we choose to do business with on the business side. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and Aiden and I have been running at this hard for about a year now, man, and we've made really good progress. And it's in great thanks to our team that we have at Mogul.
So let me ask you guys this, because the name, image, and likeness in college football, or really just college athletics, is going to get passed. I think we all know that, right? I don't think that train is going to stop anytime soon. When you have a guy like Joe Burrow, and we talked about him before you guys came on the show, before we went live, and I talked about him just a minute ago, there was a study that Joe Burrow's Instagram, could have generated over $150 million. How does a company like Mogul, so my son is in there with my wife. When his generation's coming up, how do they monetize that? And I'll just kick that question over to you. How do they go about that in this growing market of social media? Because look, I'm sitting in my house, I have a camera right here, and we're talking about it live on stream. How do they do that? How are you guys preparing athletes and former people going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically the way that Mogul is structured, right, it's, as Brandon mentioned earlier, it's a two-sided marketplace allowing athletes to seek out the opportunities to monetize their name, image, and likeness. So for example, with Joe Burrow and his extensive social media following and his big Instagram presence, he would obviously be able to command an extensive amount of value from local businesses and large national brands as well via the Mogul platform. So recognizing his incredible following on Instagram and the amount of impressions that they can gain from his influencer status, local businesses all the way up to national brands would be able to post opportunities for him to run social media campaigns on behalf of their brands and their products. So basically the way that Mogul works is Joe Burrow, for example, would log into the Mogul platform and he would have his profile inclusive of all of his accolades and athletic accomplishments and interests, and he'd be able to sort through the opportunities available to him in Baton Rouge and beyond, right? And those opportunities exist all the way from at the low level, like private athletic training, all the way up to large national brand social media campaigns.
So, which will beg the question, is how this will be structured. So how are you guys having to pivot because we don't have a complete understanding of what name, image, and likeness will be. Senator Booker made a statement a couple of weeks ago about what he thinks should happen, and we don't have a lockstep. So as you guys build, how do you pivot that? So for an example, if the NCAA won't allow a company like a Mogul, which I think that they will, to be able to talk to players because it's still amateurism, how do you guys affect that? Because I think that it needs to be there.
I think the way that we're able to iterate throughout this entire process is just having people in a position that are close to the legislation. And we have a really good legal analyst who's done a really good job for us staying up to date on some of the latest proposals and some of the latest language that has been proposed and has come out for the market. And I think that's on Aiden and I really staying close to it as well. And then obviously from my standpoint, Blake, I'm taking onus to ensure the eligibility and the reliability of our platform for these college athletes. So never putting them in a position that will ever jeopardize their eligibility is what I'm taking pride in. So having all the necessary disclosures, as I mentioned earlier, on the platform is going to be pertinent for our success, making sure that these athletes can go about this process and not have anything to worry about.
So I have to bring this up because, again, it's just such an interesting part. And I Googled this, and I couldn't remember the kicker's name. But you guys may remember there was a kicker who had a YouTube channel, and he was telling kids how to kick, right? Well, he got monetized, and YouTube started paying him money. Nothing really bad about it, and he didn't even cash out. But the NCAA flagged him and stopped him from doing anything. Where do we get to a point where and I hate to ask it like this, but it's a free-for-all. We all know that Notre Dame, LSU, Alabama, they will go after the top guys, and the money will normally win on how to influence this. Nike is a sponsor for almost every SEC team. How do you stop big companies and big universities from, I don't want to say making it the top bigger and the smaller, but how does a company like Mogul help every athlete from southeastern Louisiana, where I played, to a Notre Dame or an LSU?
I can take this.
Yeah, I think
because I've been
big thing.
Go ahead, Aiden. Go ahead, Aiden.
Go for it.
Okay, the reason I want to take this one, Blake, and I'll let Aiden kind of piggyback off of it. But I've been in contact with Donald, who's better known as Destroying now via his social media platforms, and he's made a really big name for himself. And obviously, I finished my career at the University of Central Florida. And I was just recently speaking with him about that experience, and he was like, yeah, I'm really wanting to go back to UCF and amend my relationship with them because I'm not too fond. I don't know, the details and the ins and outs of the situation, but I think the NCAA came to UCF and had multiple meetings with him and their compliance office and kind of steered him away from his on the field activities. And obviously he couldn't be under the NCAA, rules and legislation anymore. So he decided to part ways and obviously continue his YouTube career, which is really taking off for him. But I think,
not to rudely interrupt you, I'm sorry, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know, I didn't know it was at UCF. I didn't know any of that. So I apologize, but continue.
Yeah, and then UCF, and LSU thing won a national championship, right? There's a whole conversation there,
man.
Too. But
so you don't look, Brandon. I'm just going to stop. You don't. I'm going to tell you these coon asses aren't ready for this conversation again right now. But continue.
Yeah, draw more attention to the show, but Donald did a really good job of monetizing that, right? And I think, to your question, Blake, I think he could have done a really good job at UCF bringing awareness to not just himself, but to the UCF, brand, right? And he could have stuck out amongst UCF players that year, right? Because he had such an immense platform to do that. Whatever it was that he was doing was drawing attention from, a national level. So I think that's where the smaller schools win, is in allowing their athletes to really take full advantage of it, and using a platform like Mogul is only going to help them and expand, their respective brands. But Aiden, go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the head, right? Like, I think one of the things that we're actually really emphasizing at Mogul and our opinion on the matter is that we actually don't think that this is going to help the rich get richer, if you will. Because when you think about these markets, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for example, right? Small city, obviously major athletic brand, major program, major players, massive names. But we think that the opportunity to have all athletes at least have the opportunity to seek out opportunities to make money is going to level the playing field with regards to a recruiting standpoint, with regards to the overall brand that these athletes are going to be able to build and aid in the building of their overall university brand as well, right? So if you think about, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the pricing ability for local businesses to get Tua into a local brand campaign probably doesn't necessarily compete with, what a local business in Columbus, Ohio, or Austin, Texas, or Miami, Florida can pay, just based on the overall socioeconomic backgrounds of those cities. So we do think that to a certain degree, that's going to help to level the playing field and at least really ensure that athletes are selecting the schools that's best for them, for an academic and an athletic standpoint, taking money out of the equation.
There's so many different angles that we could talk about. And look, we could talk about this for hours. We're going to have to bring you guys back on when we have, a lot more time. It's hard for me to put it into context and to put it into words because we don't know exactly how it's going to go down, right? With the name, image, and likeness. But I don't want to say how you stop from schools profiting off of athletes, because I don't think that you ever stop that, right? I think it's like, for example, the Kansas City Chiefs are skyrocketing up NFL boards in reference to money because of guys like Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to ask how do you stop that, but if I went to go buy, I thought I had my Joe Burrow jersey in here, but if I went to go buy a Joe Burrow jersey and LSU says we're not paying you for that because it's just a jersey, a lot of people have worn number 9. How can you guys explain to me how the NCAA is, I don't want to say going to deal with that, but how can they deal with that? Because 150 kids have worn number 9. How can we associate who they're wearing the number 9 from? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, based on our discussions with athletic departments and with universities and with people that are really close to the legislation, it doesn't appear that the merchandising factor is going to be a major change with regards to the name, image, and likeness era, right? Potentially, universities might have to do a little bit of profit sharing based on the name, image, and likeness sold at the university bookstore, but it doesn't seem like that is actually going to be the case. Where we see, athletes really being able to monetize their name, image, and likeness is things that exist outside of the boundaries of their merchandise and their apparel sales for the university. Basically, anything that a university owns, it seems like will continue to be maintained by them, and they'll continue to own those revenues. However, athletes now will have the opportunity to go out into their local community, go out and engage with local citizens, and actually monetize that brand that the university has helped them to build and that they've helped to build the university as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the way that we're talking about it.
Yeah, it does. I just don't know. I don't know how they are planning on doing all of this, because I think that there's always going to be something flawed with it, at least rolling it out. But Stephen Miller inside the chat brings up an interesting question. He says, what if colleges held a percentage of jersey sales in account for said player, and when they finish, they give them the money jersey sales during said years? So maybe, for an example, 100,000 number 9 jerseys were sold while Joe Burrow was at LSU. Then at the end, they give him the money. Would that be okay from a monetization standpoint?
I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I see absolutely no wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with that structure. And, if we're being honest, right, from an equitable standpoint, that's the way it should be, right? I mean, that is Joe Burrow. I don't care if it's, who wore it before. Was it Devin White or, that is Joe Burrow, right? So, or no, Devin White was number 1, I think. But regardless,
he was number 40. But that's my point, though, right? Like, I bring up merchandise sales because that's my point. So if Louisiana, that's a small population, 1,000 people or 10,000, 100,000 people wore and bought a number 9 jersey, I don't really believe the monetization of the jersey sales. Like, I don't believe that. There's a reason that ESPN and Sports Illustrated, hey, LeBron's number 1 on the jersey sales again. But I know that's either few or far between. Guys, last question, and we'll get you guys out of here, and I'll let you guys promote where all you're doing and where everybody can follow you. Where do you see this going, and how quickly do you see the name, image, and likeness being passed? And to piggyback off of that, when do you see this being enacted? In 2022, 2023? What are you guys thinking?
Blake, we're thinking 2021. We're thinking optimistic. That's our view. That's what we take away from the conversations that we've had with people who are really close to the legislation, from athletic directors, to lawyers, to other people who are also in this space. So obviously, Florida is the first state to enact their law, allowing their athletes to be compensated as early as July of 2021. And that's going to put pressure on the NCAA as well as Congress to expedite their decision making here. So they don't want there to be any inconsistent state by state laws, right? And that's what this would provide. That's what this would enable. So we're thinking that they're going to have to with the pressure that's being put on them, that they're going to have to make some decisions to create some uniformity here across the board. So Mogul's prepared to launch here in early parts of July, and fully service the athletes and the businesses and the communities that we're able to.
Awesome, guys. Look, y'all have been fantastic, and we're going to have to pick this up again. We're going to have to bring you guys back on as things start to ramp up. But tell everybody where they can follow you on social media and where they can follow you guys, whatever y'all are doing.
Yeah, 100%. Blake, again, thanks so much for the opportunity. Would definitely love to join the show again. I think I watched the whole show today. It's extremely well done, and really proud of you and everything that you guys have built over here as well. Just to reiterate,
years to monetize, but hey, it only took me 3 years. It took the NCAA 150, so we're on that aspect. We're doing all right.
You're on the right track. Joe Rogan,
Absolutely,
I think, sold it for like 100 million. Blake. So there's hope here, man, with podcasts.
Oh, look, I'm hitting up Spotify on Twitter every day. I'm like, pay me 1%. Give me 1% of 100 million. I'll be okay. I'll get out of your hair. I'll keep promoting the podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But just to reiterate for your listeners, right? So at Mogul, we've created a platform that will connect current and former collegiate athletes to opportunities to monetize their name, image, and likeness, primarily in the local community scale, such as in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mogul will allow and empower athletes to seek out these opportunities and help local businesses to build their brands and increase profitability while making a tangible impact in the local community by donating a portion of our proceeds to local youth athletic programming. So if you want to get in touch, you want to learn more about our offering, you want to have unprecedented access to collegiate athletes, both current and former collegiate athletes, check out our website at www.mogul.online. That's MOGL.online. We're also on Instagram at get.mogul. So that's get.mogl. We're on Twitter as well. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. But if you want to get in touch, there's a contact button on our website. We'd encourage everyone to also sign up for our newsletter and submit your information, and we'll be in touch.
Well, AYS will definitely be in touch. And look, here's the thing: I didn't even talk about the damn video game that I wanted to get to, but there's just so many. There's so many avenues that we can get to, and we'll have to bring you guys going on again. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks so much, Blake.
All right. That is Mr. Brandon Wimbush and Aiden Syal. We got a lot to talk about. That was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Name, image, and likeness is coming up, so we'll have to talk about it. All right, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. We will do the Ask Blake and Ask Us. So we'll put the Ask Blake back in there as well. Very interesting conversation. Look, I don't think that we will be able to stop, and we won't stop the name, image, and likeness. And it's here for college football and college athletics, and it's here to stay, and it will continue to go on. Ryan Thibodeau says the only thing that I can see a problem is if there's two players wearing the same number, like Chase and Fulton wore number 1 the same year. That's a good point that I didn't think about with the jersey sales. But I don't know. I'm not sure if they're fully aware of that or even thinking about that. But we'll see. And Ryan says, very interesting interview. I thought it was. I mean, we're not stopping name, image, and likeness, and monetization's here. So everybody who says, oh, we need to stop it, it's bad, but, it's not stopping it. Okay, we got to get to it. We got to pay some bills around here, and we're going to talk some more LSU and get to some LSU stuff. But we got to get over to our good friend, Mr. Roche Roche, over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. If you want the best looking, and I mean it, the best looking lawn and landscape in the business in the greater Baton Rouge area, give Richie a call today at 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. And tell him Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. We didn't get to I did see this. Stephen Miller put in the on Facebook Live, K. Doty, no structural damage in his shoulder. That's huge. You might have him out for maybe a week. That's humongous. Absolutely huge. And, Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, and Drost, three true freshman guys that have come into this team and just absolutely started crushing the ball. I think, and I did this math earlier, I think as a collective, the three freshmen that started this weekend in Drost, Cruz, and Morgan, combined, they're hitting 439. Amazing, man. And that's why I thought, and I said this earlier, why I thought that COVID might have been the best thing for LSU baseball. Having a year off, guys like Fontenot and everybody, Matt Beck coming back, which I think Matt Beck is going to be out a little bit with some arm soreness, which when does LSU not go through arm soreness? It seems like every year. Every single year they go through arm soreness. So we'll have to wait and see. Russell Wilson is in the news. There's some chatter that Russell Wilson might be wanting to come to the Saints. Now, I saw somebody today on Twitter, Blake, if you think that Russell Wilson can't say where he goes, he can have influence in where he goes. He can always have influence in where he goes. Let's see. Carl the Cat says must be the facial hair. It might be. Carl, it's like the old Bible story. And what was it? Samson with the long hair. The longer the hair, the more the power. Maybe I should grow Carl, should I grow my beard out longer? So, Carl, are you telling me this is kind of true. The bigger my beard was, the more followers we got. Interesting. Never shaving again. Brandon says Trey Morgan may be the most relaxed player I've ever seen. Yeah, and you know what's ridiculous? Do y'all remember the play that speaking of K. Doty, do you remember the play that K. Doty threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the kid's face 8 feet away from him, and they gave Morgan the error? He's great at the plate. He's hitting 370. He's hitting 370, and five of the at-bats, he hit line drives right to people. Kid should easily be hitting over 450. Easily. Stephen Miller says Beck equals arm soreness. Man, how does no team in the SEC struggle with arm soreness like LSU does? I don't get it. I mean, I think Alan Dunn's great, but Jesus, year after year after year after year, I don't get it. Blake Doucette on Facebook Live says, "As Blake, I've never been a fan of putting a name on jersey to sell because that number will be used again, but number 9 will be retired, so I don't blame people for buying a jersey with Burrow on the back." And that's interesting, and bringing those guys on, that's the point. I mean, so I get that it's LSU, and I get all this name, image, and likeness, and people either like it or they freaking hate it. There's no middle ground. But if you buy LSU Joe Burrow jersey, should Joe Burrow not get compensated for that? I think you mean to tell me that if Joe Burrow got compensated for buying an LSU jersey, that you wouldn't buy it? You're damn skippy I would. And then I'd throw an extra 100 on there for Joe Burrow and tell him, thank you for everything that you've done for LSU. I wouldn't even think twice about it. It's the man's name. Kenny says Gorilla Ball is back. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, Zach Pearson, who will be on the show Wednesday, we will be taking off tomorrow for my wife's birthday, by the way. But I mean, Zach Pearson put it best. I mean, people were ragging about this team. Guys, they might have 30 home runs by the first week of March. Think about what I just said again. They're on track, literally. Now, this is going to slow down when they get in SEC play, but LSU is literally on track to break the LSU home run record. It's a lot to be said, and a lot to be said about that. Craig Schilling says, boosters have big money no matter what the college town economics are. How do you profit a recruit from being able to put in schools out for bid for image and likeness during the recruiting process? Let me read that again. Boosters have big money no matter what the college town economics are. How do you – well, Craig, you don't. And that's why I asked him that question, and I don't agree with him there. I simply do not agree with him there. There's no way that you're going to stop an LSU. There's no way you're going to stop an Alabama. There's no way you're going to stop a Notre Dame. And here's the truth. There's no way you're going to stop a USC. What worries me, it's not even worried because college football is chalky in and of itself, but you're not going to stop them. If this meant for AYS need to sponsor a kid from Hammond so that he would go to, LSU, you're damn skippy. I'll do it in a legal capacity. Let me add. Blake Quibido says COVID-19 contributed to the death and great competition in the LSU clubhouse. And look, it's getting the heat off of a pulmonary. Steven says number 9 should never be worn again by another LSU player. No, I don't think it should either. And quite honestly, I don't think 72 should either. I don't think Glenn Dorsey's number should ever be worn again. The simple fact that 72 is worn again is, in my opinion, a damn shame. But that's my thought process. Kenny says, Carl the cat in the house. Thought all this arm soreness was over with the new technology LSU was using. No, it's not over. And it never will be over. Blake Quibidos also says year after year equals arm soreness and stints of standard basis runners in large numbers. Maybe. David says A&M in 2019 lost 9 pitchers for a year, so we haven't been that bad. Yeah, but you're talking about one team versus the entire SEC, and you're talking about the entirety of college baseball. So I'm not going to talk about one team. Yes, can one team be bad with arm soreness? Sure. But when you're talking about, hey, why is there a reasoning why why Vandy doesn't struggle with it? Give me one reason why Vandy doesn't struggle with it. LSU does. Now, maybe they do. Maybe I just don't see it. All right, a couple more questions. We're going to get out of here. Brandon Reese has asked Blake, besides the 3 first-round picks, which players would you we were asked this question earlier. Which players would you trade for Russell Wilson if you're the Saints? I'm never going to trade 3 players. I'm just going to let you know that right now. I'm not trading Ryan Ramczyk. I know a lot of people are throwing Ryan Ramczyk's name in there. Why would you trade an offensive lineman, probably your best offensive lineman, to get Russell Wilson? That makes no damn sense. That's like what the Texans did in a Laramie Tunsil trade. You're not going to trade an offensive lineman that would entice Russell Wilson to come to or want to come to the Saints. You don't do that. Also, you don't trade Cam Jordan. Not only because Cam Jordan had an off season, I just don't think that you should trade Cam Jordan because pass rush in today's society is everything. I do think, however, you got to give up one of the big 2. And I'm talking about you got to give up Alvin Kamara or you got to give up Michael Thomas. Or you can't do that. Bullshit, you can't. Let me make this very clear. Russell Wilson is greater than either Alvin Kamara or Michael Thomas, always will be. The quarterback position will always warrant that. So Blake, he won't have a good target to throw to. Go get him. So you're going – hold on, guys. Sinuses. But you're going to have to give up. I would give 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and I would give up one of the big 2 for Russell Wilson. And you know what? I wouldn't blink an eye, and I would solely feel comfortable with it. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest. But I don't know if it's going to happen, and I don't think that it will. And everybody's like, oh, it's not going to happen. He's not coming to Seattle. Okay. Or he's staying in Seattle. Okay. Ryan says you never trade your two OL or top OL. Yeah, you never trade your top O lineman. Ever. Well, you don't ever trade your top D lineman either. Zach says give up Thomas and draft a new young wide receiver. Do it. Ryan Thibodeau says Cam Jordan made a tweet about his name in the mix. Yeah, he said he went on vacation and all of a sudden he saw he was in trade rumors. Guy has one bad season, you want to cut him. It's like J.J. Watt. He got hurt and then came back and had 20 sacks. Brand says Taysom Hill, Andrews Pete, and 2 first-rounders. I mean, you can pull a lot of people out of the hat of who you would trade for Russell Wilson, but quite honestly, parts of me thinks that Sean Payton's so petty he'll find a way to screw it up. Well, Blake, you didn't do it. Bullshit. Kenny says Blake pulls no punches, but first off, thank you. But number 2, you're going to have to, without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to have to trade one of the big 2. Guys, this is Russell Wilson you're talking about. This isn't, here's another thing too. Look what Matthew Stafford warranted. So, Max says Seattle doesn't need another wide receiver. They have 2 good ones. They need O lineman and D lineman. If Russell Wilson is that bad and you want him that bad, then you're going to have to give up somebody. Then you know what? Give up the Cam Jordan. I mean, I don't know what they're going to ask for, but I would give up a top player and 2 first-round draft picks for Russell Wilson. I would go to sleep happy as a lark and not think anything about it. Wade says Thomas would have to go. Alvin has embraced the city. Way too many people love him here. He made fun of the city last night, though. He said, I'm moving to Montana because the air in New Orleans absolutely sucks. Which, let's call it what it is. The air in New Orleans sometimes absolutely sucks. David says AK-41 off limits also. Thomas trade and get another big physical wide receiver in the draft. Maybe so. B on Facebook says Sean Payton will make another Kamara. Sproles was just like him. Yeah, no, Darren Sproles wasn't like Alvin Kamara. It's funny because people think that like Reggie Bush sucked. Y'all remember when everybody said, oh, Reggie Bush absolutely sucks. Reggie Bush as a rookie caught 88 passes. Reggie Bush he doesn't suck, y'all. Sometimes we got to be more realistic about what we're talking about. Alvin Kamara and Darren Sproles, although I think Darren Sproles was really good, Alvin Kamara is on a different level than Darren Sproles ever was. Darren Sproles ain't running in between the tackles and getting you breaking tackles inside the box. No way. Let's see. Last question, we'll get out of here. Brandon Reese says, ask Blake, if the Saints pulled that off, how many Super Bowls do we win? You at least win another one. You at least win one. I mean, possibly 2. I mean, as much shit as I give Sean Payton, he's a great coach. He's a really good play caller. I think you get another one. And I know that everybody's talking about, oh, Drew Brees is working out. Here's another thing. You got Drew Brees on a contract. Trade his ass. I'm going to make it very clear. Let me make this, because I'm probably going to edit this and put it on YouTube. I understand that Drew Brees is working out. And I know everybody saw the video of Drew Brees working out. I know that he restructured his contract so it would be less of a cap hit for the New Orleans Saints. We have to move on from Drew Brees. And as painful and as much as I don't want to say that, the Saints are not going to win anything else while Drew Brees is at the helm. And I hope that you understand that. I hope that every Saints fan understands that. Because the truth is, if we would have won one with Drew Brees, it would have been over the last 4 years. It would have been over the last 4 years when you got into the playoffs and you made deep runs. Well, Blake, what about the Rams? You beat the Patriots? You have no idea what would have happened then. Because Tom Brady was on the other side of that. And the last time we saw Drew Brees play Tom Brady in the playoffs, he lost. Drew Brees' arm strength is dwindling. So anytime he runs uphill with a 45-pound push or what was it, sled, I don't care what he does. Does that help his arm strength of pushing the ball down the field? No, it doesn't. So you do still have that man on contract. Trade him. Or let the man retire in peace. But if you're a true Saints fan, and look, well, you could never say that about Drew Brees and everything he's done for the city. I agree with you there. I agree with you. I want Drew Brees to retire as a New Orleans Saint. But if you want the actual goal, if you want to be a champion, then you got to let go of him. And sometimes it's like life. It's like life. Sometimes you got to cut people loose so that you can thrive. Dead weight is all what it is, dead. And I'm not saying Drew Brees is dead. I mean, the man's 40 years old. I mean, Jesus Christ. You want to win another Super Bowl? Man's under contract. Trade him. All right. That's my spiel. I'm sticking to it. All right, guys, no show tomorrow. It's my wife's birthday. When you see me make a post on Facebook, tell my wife happy birthday. She deserves it. She's the rock star of AYS. All right, guys, but until then, we will see you soon. Have a good night.